many blacks were excluded from a lot of the social programs of the early 19th century.
We don't disagree
or
on
the
any
early
of that.
20th century. Well, the difference is Dr. King would say it in the sense of until something, well, okay, and this is what from what I've been reading from him, until that is acknowledged, just saying, okay, well, we're all the same, racism's gone, I don't see race, doesn't change the fact that we still live in a country that is deeply divided based on how our country was formed, how certain people got to where they got to, how certain families started out. So until that's at least addressed, all the I don't see race or I don't see color or anything else like that is just empty. I guess like empty rhetoric.
Your words mean nothing to me.
Hey! There are maybe 30 or 40 countries on the face of the earth where you've got even half a chance of living a life such as been possible here. A life of tolerance of faith, tolerance of difference, tolerance of sexuality, a life of peace and equality before the law, of education for all.
But the people who run the comic industries now, they are anti-American.
Yep.
Bunch of fucking fake socialists, fake commie fucking, they're just champagne socialists.
Yep.
And so they want to tear that part down. They want to tear the patriotism down.
So you think conservatives want to whitewash American history?
Not whitewash, but preserve the way it's already been taught because it matches up with American exceptionalism. And I think there is a deep fear that anything that challenges American exceptionalism challenges, even if and this is my opinion, I can't give anybody else's opinion, even if it's more accurate than American exceptionalism, just the challenge in itself they would see as I would say anti-American.
Yeah.
Well, why not? Everything else has been shat on.
When I was I was just talking about this recently in a video about how Hollywood destroys all of our heroes. And normally you have to spend a bit of time looking for good examples of this sort of thing. And in this case, I had to spend a lot of time trying to narrow it down because there was so fucking many. Like so many heroes that we used to look up to that have just been absolutely gutted by Hollywood and turned into bitter, whiny, useless old people. And I don't just confine this to men either. It happened to Sarah Connor in Dark Fate. Mm-hmm. So it happens to female heroes as well. And I don't understand this need to do it.
Could all those terrible things be true and America still be exceptional?
Yeah. But when I say American exceptionalism, I should have put air quotes up. By American exceptionalism, I mean this idea that almost this fairy tale idea of America, where a lot of the stories are told in a hero and villain sense instead of being told in just this is how the way things are.
Stories from history at least suggest what might be possible, what might be achieved if we seek to live up to an ideal that may or may not have been realised, ever made real by the ancestors. I think, and I say this from the heart, that it's hard to express how important it is to give people the confidence to try and do that which might otherwise seem impossible.
You said it yourself, bitch. We're the guardians of the galaxy.
I would say, as the one here who is not only not from the US, but also not a native English speaker, from a non-English speaking country. I find it freaking offensive that they removed truth, justice, and the American way. Not only is that iconic in its own right, but those of us who kind of relied a little bit on Allied help after World War II, we know exactly what truth, justice, and the American way means. I mean, some of us are pretty close to the Iron Curtain. And basically seeing that the commies, that whole phrase was designed to fight against, now they essentially won and they removed it. It's scary and it's offensive for those of us who are able to put it in its proper context.
In Scotland, which is my homeland, much is made of Calgacus.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
The warrior swordsman who, according to Tacitus at least, rallied the Caledonians. He brought together all the clans, all the tribes of Scotland. According to Tacitus, he brought them together for a climactic battle against Agricola's Romans at a place called Mons Graupius, which is to say the Grampian Hills. And this happened sometime in AD 83. And real or imagined, let's allow for the artistic license accorded to Tacitus. But the words that he either heard or put into the mouth of Calgacus are quite something. Whenever I consider the origin of this war and the necessities of our position, I have a sure confidence that this day and this union of ours will be the beginning of freedom to the whole of Britain. To all of us, slavery is a thing unknown. There are no lands beyond us. We are the last of the free, and even the sea is not safe, menaced as we are by a Roman fleet. To us who dwell on the uttermost confines of the earth and of freedom, this remote sanctuary of Britain's glory has up to this time been a defence. Now, however, the furthest limits of Britain are thrown open, but there are no tribes beyond us, nothing indeed but the waves and the rocks. Let us then, a fresh and unconquered people, never likely to abuse our freedom, show forthwith at the very first onset what heroes Caledonians has in reserve.
It's like hand on my heart, inspired as an American watching this.
We